Okay, learners, in this video, we are going to learn about parallelogram and its properties. On our previous lesson, we have identified the different kinds of quadrilateral, and one of those kinds of quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Parallelogram is a quadrilateral having two pairs of opposite sides which are both parallel and congruent. Under parallelogram, we have three special kinds. We have the rectangle, the rhombus, and square. A rectangle is a parallelogram having four right angles, while a rhombus is a parallelogram having four equal sides. A square is a parallelogram which is both a rectangle and a rhombus because it has four right angles and four equal sides. Thus, it is called a regular polygon because it is both equilateral and equiangular. Parallelogram has different properties. The first property of a parallelogram is that opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. Second property, two adjacent angles of a parallelogram are supplementary. When we say supplementary, these are two angles whose sum is 180 degrees, while complementary angles are two angles whose sum is 90 degrees. For the third property of a parallelogram, it states that each diagonals of a parallelogram divides the parallelogram into two congruent triangles. Fourth property, two opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent. And last, the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. Note that a bisector is a line, segment, or ray that divides a line, segment, or angle into two congruent parts. Let us have this activity. Using parallelogram blue, determine the measure of the following. Number 1. If BE is equal to 18, LU is equal to blank. Based on the figure, line segment BE and line segment LU is a pair of opposite sides. Therefore, based on the property stated on the previous slide, it says that the opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent. Therefore, if BE is 18, their LU is also 18. Next, we have if BL is equal to 4, EU is equal to blank. Again, segment BL and segment EU is a pair of opposite sides. Therefore, they are congruent. So, if BL is 4, EU is also equal to 4. Number 3. If measure of angle EBL is equal to 65 degrees, measure of angle EUL is equal to blank, measure of angle UEB is equal to blank, and measure of angle BLU is equal to blank. First, we need to identify the given angle. So the given angle is angle EBL, and angle EBL is this. If the measure of angle EBL is 65 degrees, the measure of angle EUL would be what? Angle EUL and angle EBL are opposite angles. So therefore, based on the properties stated in a parallelogram, opposite angles are congruent. So therefore, the measure of angle EUL is equal to 65 degrees. Next, what would be the measure of angle UEB? Angle UEB is here. Take note that angle UEB and angle EBL are consecutive angles. Therefore, based on the second property, consecutive angles of a parallelogram are supplementary. So meaning, the two angles, angle UEB and angle EBL, must be equal to 180 degrees. So therefore, we have 115 degrees. We just need to subtract the measure of angle EBL, which is 65 degrees, from 180 in order for us to determine the measure of this angle. So 180 minus 65, we have 115 degrees. And for the measure of angle BLU, angle UEB and angle BLU are opposite angles. So therefore, they are congruent. So angle BLU will also have a measure of 115 degrees. If we are going to sum up the four angles of quadrilateral BLU, it would be equal to 360 degrees. Next, if measure of angle EBL is equal to x plus 40 and measure of angle EUL is equal to 3x minus 12, find x. Take note that angle EBL and angle EUL are opposite angles. Opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. So therefore, we can have our equation as the measure of angle EBL is equal to the measure of angle EUL. So we have x plus 40 is equal to 3x minus 12. Solving for the given linear equation and combining similar terms, we are going to have 40 plus 12 is equal to 3x minus x, which will lead us to equation 52 is equal to 2x. Dividing both sides of the equation in order for us to solve for x, therefore we have 26. So x is equal to 26. Number 5. If EB is equal to 3x minus 5 and UL is equal to x plus 19, find x. Note that line segment EB and line segment UL are sides of parallelogram blue. And these sides are opposites. So therefore, the opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent. So therefore, we are going to have our equation as EB is equal to UL. Therefore, we have 3x minus 5 is equal to x plus 19. Combining similar terms, therefore, we have 3x minus x is equal to 19 plus 5. So, we have 2x is equal to 24. Simplifying further by dividing both sides by 2, therefore, x is equal to 12. Number 6. If measure of angle UEB is equal to x plus 12 and measure of angle EUL is equal to 2x minus 6, find the measure of angle UEB. We need to identify what part of the parallelogram are the given angles. So as you can see, angle UEB is here and angle EUL is here. Therefore, the two angles are said to be consecutive. Based on the property stated, consecutive angles of a parallelogram are supplementary. Therefore, we have this equation. Measure of angle UEB plus measure of angle EUL is equal to 180. Therefore, we have x plus 12 plus 2x minus 6 is equal to 180. Combining similar terms, we have 3x plus 6 is equal to 180. Simplifying further, by transposing positive 6 to the other side of the equation, therefore we have 3x is equal to 180 minus 6, we have 3x is equal to 174. Dividing both sides to solve for x, therefore we have 58. We are going to make use of this value, 58, in order for us to identify the measure of angle UEB, which is x plus 12. So therefore, replacing x by 58, so we have 58 plus 12, the measure of angle UEB is equal to 70 degrees. Number 7. If SL is equal to 15, LE is equal to blank. In the figure, segment LE and segment BU are diagonals of parallelogram blue, and the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. Therefore, point S is the midpoint of line segment LE. Since SL is 15, that makes SE equal to 15. Therefore, diagonal LE will have a measure of 30. Number 8. If UB is equal to 32, SB is equal to blank. UB is 32, wherein point S is the midpoint. Therefore, US and SB will have equal measures. So 32 divided by 2, SB will have a measure of 16. 9. Measure of angle BLU plus measure of angle LBE is equal to blank. Angle BLU is here, while angle LBE is this one. Since the two angles are consecutive angles, therefore, if we are going to take the sum of measure of angle BLU and the measure of angle LBE, therefore we have 180 degrees since they are supplementary. Number 10. If ES is equal to 5y plus 2 and SL is equal to 12, LE would be equal to, yes, we have 24. Why? Because SL is 12. That makes segment ES equal to 12. So therefore, 12 plus 12, we have 24. If we're going to make use of the given, ES is equal to 5y plus 2 and SL is equal to 12, therefore we could have the equation 5y plus 2 is equal to 12. Since UB and LE are bisectors, they are the diagonals of parallelogram blue. That makes point S a midpoint of both UB and EL. So therefore, 5y plus 2 is equal to 12. Therefore, we are going to have 5y is equal to 10. Simplifying further, it will give us y being equal to 2. Substituting 2 as a value of y, therefore we have 5 times 2 is 10 plus 2, so that is equal to 12. So 12 plus 12, therefore LE is equal to 24. Next, number 11. Name two congruent triangles. Based on the properties stated earlier, the diagonals of a parallelogram divides the parallelogram into two congruent triangles. So if we are going to take line segment UB, you can see that the parallelogram is divided into two congruent triangles, and that those triangles are triangle BUE and triangle ULB. If we are going to take in consideration line segment LE as our diagonal, therefore, we have these two triangles triangle LBE, which is congruent to triangle LUE. So we have triangle LUB is congruent to triangle BUE, and triangle LEB is congruent to triangle ELU. Take note, for the properties of a rectangle, it has all the properties of a parallelogram as well as having 4 right angles and congruent diagonals. For a rhombus, it has all the properties of a parallelogram as well as having 4 congruent sides, perpendicular diagonals, and diagonals that bisect opposite angles. While for a square, it has all the properties of a parallelogram, a rectangle, and a square. So that ends our lesson for this video. Thank you and God bless.